listeners mind what is a year. A while back, an anon asked me to talk about Wellsie, because I had mentioned her in a previous video about the Shalans, and she asked me a couple questions, so I am all prepared to answer those questions for you guys. The first question the anon asked was, what was your first reaction when Wellsie died? And I can tell you that as soon as I read that sentence, I threw the book across the room and started screaming. I was incredibly pissed off, and when I was done yelling, I started crying. My sister, I believe, was the only other person home at the time, and she stuck her head in the door to make sure that I was okay, but the look on her face just read, what the fuck went on in here? I don't think I ever have had the ability to reread that section of the book. It's been it's a hard scene to read for me. I hate that scene. I cried so hard the first time, it was ridiculous. I got really attached to Wellsie. So it was difficult for me. The second question the anon asked was, what did I think of her before her passing? And before Wellsie died, I was pretty damn sure she was the epitome of the perfect Shallan. I mean, she was like the perfect 50s woman. She stayed at home, she took care of the house, she cooked dinner, she did all the laundry, like that. She wore these beautiful dresses and was just gorgeous, and that was like her purpose in life, was to take care of her Hellren, and it seems very 50s and just spiffy and lovely, and I love it. She took on JM as her own, like full-on adopted him pretty much, just took him in and loved him like he was her own son, and I think that's really beautiful. I mean, she was super excited about being among men. I mean, she was reading the scene when Autumn talked about looking in the seeing bowls on the other side and watching the scene where Wellsie was telling Tor that she was pregnant. Broke my heart, because he was so worried about her, but she was so excited. She wanted to have a young of her own so badly, and to finally have the opportunity to see that dream come true. That just reminds me a lot of me. I've always wanted kids, and I am super excited for the opportunity now that I've finally gotten married. Super excited for the opportunity to be a mom someday. And so I really admired that about Wellsie. She was strong, she was independent, incredibly feminine and just gorgeous, but she stood up for what she wanted and what she thought she deserved. She wasn't a pushover at all. She was so strong and independent, and I admired her for that. So it was, I guess that's another reason it hurt so much to see her die. She reminded me so much of myself. I related to her in a lot of ways. The third question that the anon asked was, what do I think of Autumn and Torment? And am I happy that he's happy, or do I just wish that it was him and Wellsie still? And that's a hard question for me to answer, because on a lot of levels I see things both ways. I'm not really incredibly sure how I feel about Autumn. Personally, I haven't even been able to get through Torment's book. I haven't been able to read more than halfway through it. I just can't push myself to finish it. I'm kind of stuck. And I think part of that is because I'm still so stuck on Wellsie. I can appreciate Autumn's role in bringing Tor back to the Brotherhood. I can absolutely appreciate everything that she's done to make him love life again. I think she was instrumental in that. And without Autumn, I don't think Tor would have been able to come back to the Brotherhood and become the male that he once was and could be again. I don't think that ever would have happened without Autumn. So I can appreciate her role in that. But I find it incredibly sad that he lost his one true bonded mate. You can only bond with one female, and because he lost Wellsie, he can't bond with Autumn. As much as he loves her, he can't bond with her. So I think, while I'm really happy that he's happy again, and I'm happy that Autumn has fulfilled her purpose and gets to have what she wanted and left behind so long ago, it's not the same. It's not the same for me. The fourth question that the anon asked was, when I think of Wellsie, what actress, model, or famous person do I see? What do I have in mind? And my favorite Dreamcast suggestion for Wellsie is, I think, Amy Adams. She's very strong and independent female. She's gorgeous, drop dead gorgeous, with that red hair and the curls, and she's perky and she's funny, but she's still strong and independent, like I said, and she's incredibly feminine at the same time, and I find that so admirable in a person. I think she just fits the bill perfectly. So definitely Amy Adams, I think, is a perfect Dreamcast for Wellsie in my world. And the last question that the anon asked me was, is Wellsie my favorite Shallan, and who else do I like? And I think Wellsie was my favorite Shallan for a long time. Before she died, I mean, through those first 3 books, like I said, really admired her and related to her in a lot of ways, so I think she was my favorite. But since she died, I've had to kind of readjust my thinking. She's not there anymore, so I have to find someone else to love. And I've really attached myself to Marissa and Elena. Marissa is so, she's feminine, she's soft, and she was mistreated for so long, but she's found a way to become herself, to find herself, and truly adapt and into the world that she's become a part of. She found someone who loves her, who she loves back. She's done so much to give back to the race in a way that only she could have done, and she's incredibly strong. She's found a strength within herself, and I admire that a lot in her. I think that was really strong writing and character development for the Warden, and I applaud her for that. Like I said, my other favorite is Elena, and I feel like Elena gets forgotten by a lot of people. She was very strong in her book, obviously, with Rev, and after that she kind of dropped off the face of the planet. We haven't heard anything about her. Again, I've only read through half of Lover Reborn, and I haven't read Lover at Last yet, so I don't know if she's mentioned in either one of those, but she dropped off the face of the planet, and I don't know anything of what's happened since Rev went to be king of the Sympaths and leader of the Princess Council, and how she's adjusting to having all this money after being poor for so long, and how she's adjusting to being mated to Rev, and with everything that's gone on between them. I want to know how she's adapting, god damn it, and there hasn't been anything there to speak of. That bothers me. So, Warden, if you're watching, fix that. I think she's incredibly strong through everything that she's had to deal with. She's handled it with grace, and she's just a beautiful person. And I think she is completely underrated. So, that's my video on Wellsie, and I guess a little bit on some others as well. And if you guys have any other questions for me, please feel free to bring them in. I love doing these videos for you guys. So, until next time, I'll see you later, Sinnerswine. Thanks again. Bye.